Okay, in this video we are looking at the 8-1 study guide that came from a different geometry book. This came from the Glencoe geometry, but it has information about quadrilaterals, which is a four-sided geometrical closed polygon, where there are special quadrilaterals like kites, trapezoids, rhombuses, squares, and rectangles. But in general, a four-sided polygon is a quadrilateral, and they all have properties in common with each other. One property is that since they have four sides, n minus 2, 4 take away 2, which is 2 times 180, is going to give us 360 degrees for the sum of the angles in a quadrilateral. So let's look at this sheet here. So we want to name all the pairs of opposite sides in this. So first of all, a quadrilateral is a closed geometric figure with four sides and four vertices. Any two sides, vertices, or angles of a quadrilateral are either consecutive or opposite. A segment joining any two non-consecutive vertices in a quadrilateral we call a diagonal. And that's basically what we constructed when we did the discovery investigation for the triangle sums theorem, or for the interior angle theorem for polygons. So let's look at this first one here. Name all pairs of opposite sides. So WZ, segment WZ is opposite to segment XY. So those go together. And segment ZY is opposite to segment WX. So notice that opposite sides kind of are the sides that go between two consecutive vertices, then it kind of skips a side, and then you have the other two consecutive vertices, depending on where you start at. So those are the pairs of opposite sides. For number 2, we want to name all the pairs of consecutive angles. Consecutive angles are basically like adjacent angles one after the other. So Z and Y are adjacent. Y and X are adjacent. X and W are adjacent. And W and Z are adjacent. And then we're back to ZY. Or we go around the other way, Y with Z, Z with W, and so on. Those are all adjacent angles. Now, diagonals go between non-consecutive angles. Those are consecutive angles, by the way. So if we take Z, skip the next consecutive angle, and then go to the next one, which is the first non-consecutive angle, and connect those together, we have what we call a diagonal. So ZX is a diagonal. And then we could do the same thing and go from W to Y. So WY is another diagonal that we can draw. Now if we started at Y and skipped and went to W, we could have WY or YW. They're both really the same thing, just different orders. And then ZX or XZ. So we have two diagonals. Okay, name all pairs of consecutive vertices. So consecutive vertices are vertices one right after the other. So this is really just like the consecutive angles. So consecutive vertices, we have Z, W, then we have WX, or we go the other way too. And then we could have XY, and then we could have YZ, or the other way around. Those are the consecutive vertices. Consecutive vertices, consecutive angles, sort of like the same thing. Name all pairs of opposite angles. Opposite angles are the non-consecutive vertices. So we have Z matched up, skip one with an X, and Y is matched up if we skip one with W. So those are the opposite angles. And really there should all be like angle signs in front of all of these. Even up through here, consecutive angles, there should all be little angle signs. Okay, for these next ones, let's solve some of these problems, see what we got. So he wants to find the missing measures in this figure. So we have we have 4 sides. This is a quadrilateral. It sort of looks like it could be a kite. It's most likely not, because these angles aren't congruent. It's kind of like a kite shape. But the point is, it has 4 sides. 4 sides in take away 2, 4 take away 2, which is 2 times 180, makes 360. Each one of these figures has 360 degrees because they're all quadrilaterals, they're all 4-sided figures. So the interior degrees is all 360 for each one of these. And we're not doing exterior angles, but if you did like an exterior angle, one at each vertex, like this, and like this one plus this one plus this one plus this one would add up to 360 also. Just because all the exterior angles, regardless of the number of sides, always add up to 360 degrees. Let's see what we got here. So we got an 89 and a 91. That's 180. And another 133 makes 233, 363, 366 makes 266, which leaves another 94 degrees. That doesn't sound right. Let's double check this. So 91 and 89, that's like 2 90s, that's 180. And another 133 is 280, 310, 313. 360 minus 313 is 57 degrees. So my math may be off a little bit on this, but I think that's correct. 180 in that, 313, and it's 47 degrees because we need to get to 360. So 47 degrees, sorry about that. So that angle is 47. And altogether that makes 360. Same thing for number 7. These all need to add up to 360, so we add the ones that were given and subtract from 360. So we have 118 and 78. 118 and 70 is 188, and another 8 is 196. And another 80 is 276, and another 6 makes 282. So we have 282 subtracted from 360. That's going to be just under 80 degrees. I think it's going to be 78 degrees. So x should be 78 degrees. And then these should add up to be the 360. Let's look at next one. So altogether, these need to make 360 degrees because there's 4 sides. And minus 2 times 180, or 2 times 180 equals 360. We have a 44 and a 42. That's a 66. That's an 86. And 86 and 37 is going to be 217. And the other 6 is going to be 223. And 360 minus 223 gives us 117. 10, 7 gives us 137 rather. So x is 137. And altogether again, these should add up to 180 degrees or 360 degrees. If we look at number 9, we got some algebra involved in this. We've got 2x's plus 50 plus 125 plus 105. So adding the numbers up, we get 230, and 50 we get 280. And altogether, 4 sides has to be 360 degrees. Take away 280 from both sides. 2x's is 80. X is going to be 40. So if we had 40 degrees here, 40 plus 50 makes a 90. So we got a 40 and a 90, that's a 130, and another 105. That makes 235, and another 125 makes 335, 355 makes 360, so it checks out. Looking at number 10, same idea. These all need to add up to 360. We've got x and 3 x's, that makes 4 x's. And adding up the numbers, we have 122 and 90, that makes 212. And all together, they need to add up to 360. Take away 212 from both sides. We get 148 is equal to 4x. So x is going to be 148 over 4, which is 74 over 2, which is 37. So x is 37. 3x then is going to be 3 times 37. That's going to be 111. So we have 111, 37, 122, and a 90, and all together these would add up to 360 for this sum. That little e means summation. Looking at number 11, same thing. X's, 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. Numbers minus 60 equals 360. Add 60 to both sides. 4 x's is 420. Divide both sides by 4. X is 420 over 4, which is 210 over 2, which is 105. So x is 105, 105 there, 105 there. 105 take away 30 is 75, and 105 take away 30 is 75. So these are 75s, that gives 150, and another 250, and another 210 gives 360.